It's not bringing me joy. It'd be getting rid of my only like normal deliciosa. I breathe on it and it's just like, I don't need you. Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Recently I've been thinking a lot about the plants in my collection and sort of how I want to manage that. I have gotten several new plants in. You've seen my last 2 videos have been hauls, but also I've talked about in my updates video how there's some plants that just aren't quite bringing me the same joy that they used to. And so I thought I would go through sort of my collection and do a bit of a declutter with me kind of thing. And I can kind of talk you through my reasonings on this kind of stuff and how I'm feeling about it all. Because, I mean, things are just booming at the minute. I feel like all of the surfaces are just covered and it's feeling ever so slightly overwhelming. So I need to get rid of some things. So that's what's happening today. Before we get into it, I want to say if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos and subscribe to my channel. If you are not new here, welcome back. I appreciate it. The other thing is I am testing out a new microphone today. So hopefully the sound quality is okay, but I figured this is the perfect video to do it so I can like step far away from the camera and you can still hear me with the same sort of intensity as when I am up close. So I figured this would be the perfect time to give it a go. Let me know if you have any qualms with it, if you think the audio quality is good, bad, etc. I would really appreciate the feedback. So yeah, let's get into it. The first place I want to go into is my cabinet, because I know for a fact there's some things in there that I don't want, that I actually spoke about in my updates video. I want to start off with taking my Monster Dubias out of there because I'm not feeling them anymore. So both of my Monster Dubias in here have just grown a lot and they're tendriling like crazy because they've grown off the top of their moss poles and I have literally done nothing about it because I haven't cared. And I feel like that is a surefire sign, like to me, that I am not loving it anymore. Like the fact that there's stuff going wrong with them and I'm not dealing with it. So let's take both of these out. The other one, it'll be a bit harder because I've put my Paleonia in there and I'm pretty sure actually this one, oh my goodness, can you see that? It's going like up behind. Oh, it's all the way at the back. Oh my goodness, even in there. So, oh, let's take these out. Ooh, also, I feel like I don't particularly need this here. This is an Alocasia dragon scale that I grew from corms from my big plant, but like unless I'm putting this into my big plant, I don't feel like I necessarily need 2 of them in my home. I feel like that is like when I have so many other Alocasias especially that I am taken care of in this zone, I don't necessarily feel like I need more. And it just adds a bit of work to my collection as well. Let's untangle these. These are doing really well. So here we've got the first one. One is also incredibly dry too. I don't know how well you can see. It is just, it's really dry. It's got the longest tendril ever. And I have just not been caring for it. And I just know somebody else will and can get better out of it than I will. I feel like that's kind of the goal in getting rid of plants. Unless I'm throwing them in the trash, I'm basically just like looking for better homes for them. So that's one that we can get rid of. Ooh. I don't know about this one. So this is my Anthurium Silver Blush. And right now it's just kind of sitting at the back of the cabinet, not really getting my best attention. It's like, it's a perfectly healthy plant. It's got amazing roots in here. It's been growing phenomenally. It kind of started out in my collection with leaves around that size and now they're getting bigger and bigger. So like that's great, but I don't see myself leaning towards this one as a plant that I love. So I might put this in a maybe pile, in a middle zone. Not that I have loads of space for different piles around my home, but put that in a middle zone, and maybe we'll keep it, maybe we won't. It just depends. But now I think I can put these in that sort of back space. We just pull this out from up there. Ooh, also, I feel like I don't need this. I think it's a rat tail cactus. Like, I like my jungle cactus, but it just isn't one that I like reach for or think about often enough for me to justify keeping it. I'm actually gonna put the Regal Shield on this side. And now I can just kind of put all of the other things back where they were-ish. Definitely made some room in the cabinet now, taking out those two big plants. The only thing that's a maybe is the anthurium, which I am still going to keep out of this space just in case. Just in case. I feel like I really need to go through the top as well. Do I? Just looking at the top, I don't think there's anything in here that I really feel like I need to get rid of. It's feeling a bit jammed, but I can, down the line, move some of the things from the top down to the bottom now that I have created some more space down there. But I'm liking everything that's in here at the moment, so I don't feel like I need to change things around, really. So that's, I feel like we're in a good, oh, actually, there's one kind of sad. Oh my God, this is so bad. So this is my variegated Gagiana. Are you seeing that in there? We have encountered some rot. So I noticed that it was rotting in the semi-hydro that it was in. And so I pulled it out and I cut off the rot, and I was able to hopefully save it because it did have some roots on it still. I popped it in a jar of water and it has just gone downhill from here. It is fully rotted, gone. So that's one I can get rid of without feeling any guilt other than the guilt of killing a plant. But yeah, otherwise, we're good in the cabinet. It feels like a really big decision, but I think I would be willing to get rid of my Monstera. I think, if I can get it out of this zone. It's difficult. Something definitely needs to change with me in this one because it is not growing very well. It has been putting out some new leaves at this point, but I am, one, not keeping the pole hydrated at all. Two, even though it's getting quite bright light, I feel like it's not progressing the way I would want to. Like, it's still putting out quite a lot of internodal space, which I was hoping would stop happening because it was going to be in a lighter spot by the window there, but it just keeps continuing to grow really leggy, and it's really frustrating because down at the bottom, not that it was tiny internodal space, but it was much, much more compact. Whereas at the top, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And I thought that I had sorted that, but obviously not. And I just genuinely don't know what, if anything, I can do to sort this one out. It feels really, really weird to potentially get rid of this one, but I genuinely don't feel like I have an option because I have tried so much with this one. It was one of my goals for 2024 to get this to work, and I feel like I've done all the right things, but it's just still not giving me that sort of good growth. So I really, really don't understand where I'm going wrong with it. And it's not like it's got pests either, so I'm just confirming that now. But it's not got pests. So I really don't know what. Maybe I'll leave this one out as a maybe as well. But I'm leaning with this one more towards getting rid of it, which is kind of a big deal because that's not like, it'd be getting rid of my only like normal Deliciosa. I would love to just have like a really big one though. That's still one of my wish list plants, to have a really big Monstera Deliciosa, but this one still is not, it's just still not doing it, and I just don't know why. But I do know that I don't want to get rid of anything on this side. Everything here are things that I really, really love. I might move some stuff around after I've like finished with my declutter because it has gotten really chaotic in this zone. But if I'm getting rid of something tall like this, maybe I can put something else over there, maybe my variegated Monstera or another one of my tall pole plants that would like a bit of higher light. I feel like that could work out. Maybe. Aside from me desperately needing to water a lot of these things, there's also a couple of plants on here that I could part with and it would not be the end of my world. My main one that I'm thinking about is my Atabapoense hybrid mixed pot. It's doing really, really well. It's producing some absolutely gorgeous leaves. Look at that. And then with the red backs, it's growing well, especially for a plant that I've not been paying attention to at all. But I'm not paying attention to it at all. And I think that's where the sort of, again, if I'm not paying attention to it, do I need to be keeping it in my collection? Probably not. So I think that one could go to a good home. And like maybe I'll bring some of these to the London plant swap in a couple of months. Maybe I can work on putting them on like Facebook listings and stuff, because I feel like that's one of the easiest places for me to sell, especially plants that I wouldn't want to pack up. Like the ones I have on my moss poles, I wouldn't want to put that into a box to mail. I feel like it's just, they're too big for that. And so if I want to sell locally, which is the easiest way to sell, doing so via Facebook Marketplace is probably the easiest. Probably wouldn't be the easiest for plants that are a little bit more on the rare side. I feel like it works better for the more sort of common things, because otherwise it's, I don't know, it's just hard to find the right buyers for more uncommon plants. And I know I was really excited about these after the plant swap I got it in, but I have not really been enjoying the growth of my what's it called? Oh my goodness, use your words, Emma. Queen of the Night? Is that what it's called? I mean, whatever this sort of jungle cactus is, I really liked the big, thick growth of it, and I know eventually it could get to that point with mine. I feel like I have so many jungle cactus at this point, I don't feel like I necessarily need to keep this one as well. It's just, I don't think it is for me. And I don't think I'd be actually that upset parting with it. Like I wouldn't notice that it was gone. I wouldn't feel like there's something missing from my collection if I didn't have it anymore. So that tells me that I can get rid of that one. Ooh, oh my God, also, I should go in this box as well, because pretty positive there's a couple things in there that I don't necessarily need. I've got this Hoya carry here, and while I like the carry, I feel like I'd prefer to have a carry splash than just the sort of same green one. I also like the thick stems on it. I don't really care. I don't really feel like I need it, and it's not bringing me joy, and that is, in the end, the only thing I have to go off of, my joy levels. And if it's not increasing those, then it's not something that I need to be keeping, I don't think. Oh, that's good. I feel like the rest of the top shelf, oh, actually, this one, I know I'm getting rid of, but I'm getting rid of it to my friend Sophie, Wholesome Houseplants, who collects Hoya. This one, the Clementiorum. I gave it a good go. This is one that I imported ages ago, and I tried with it. I tried with the whole reptilian, crusty, dusty Hoya thing. I don't think it's for me. I just much prefer my sort of speckled, spotty, less reptilian Hoyas than this one, and I know that she will just love it so much more than I will, and so this one will be going to a new home, but I'm gonna keep it until she gets back and I can see her again and give this to her, because I know she will love it. This is one that I've never actually washed the sulfur off of, and if that's not telling, I don't know what is. I feel like if I'm not cleaning off these plants, then I'm not caring. Let's go in to this box. Something glaringly obvious in here, isn't there? What the heck am I doing with this? This is obviously a Tradescantia Zebrina, I think. But it's gotten extremely disgusting in here, and I think it's probably causing other things some issues as well, just with like the leaf fall off. This one, I genuinely think it needs to go in the bin. Like the people who have Tradescantia and like Tradescantia, this is not a hard one to get. It's not a rare one. It's not difficult. I don't really feel like I need to save it in order for it to have a good home. Okay, also, sorry, I'm just pulling off leaf after leaf. On this one, I've just pulled off a bunch of the leaves. This is another one of those Palias, but I don't know, it's still growing, so I think it might have a chance. And I genuinely think that I need to open this box more often, because things are just like fully wet in here. Like, do you see that? It is literally, I could pour out the water. I probably should pour out the water. I'm gonna pour it into that one. But this is a peperomia. Don't know what type of peperomia is. It's not doing poorly, but it's not doing great, so I'm gonna throw it away. Good decisions, Emma. Good decisions. This is an Epipremnum Shangri-La. Somebody can like this one more than I do. It's still like perfectly happy. It's growing new leaves, so I don't feel like I need to bin it, but I don't need to keep it either. But I might leave this open for a little bit just to like let some airflow happen in here, because there has not been enough airflow. And actually, I might trade this lid, because this is the lid that's like sealed fully, So I might trade this lid with one that doesn't have the ceiling in it, so it can get like ever so slightly more airflow, like it's not airtight, which I think could benefit these plants as well. And then we get to the cactus cabinet. And there's definitely some things in here that I want to keep. Most of it I do want to keep, but there's also some things that I don't feel like I 100% need in my collection, like this Apuntia. This one, oh my god, it just causes me so many issues when I repot it and stuff. Is that a... I was gonna say, is that a mealybug? Can you see that white thing in there? Just there? I can't tell if it is a mealybug or not. It doesn't look like it has root mealies though, but I feel like this one gives me so much, like, it's just not growing very well, to be honest. Why is it doing that? The light's above, why? So I don't need this one. I just don't know where to put it in the meantime, while I'm figuring out a new home for it. I also just don't know if anyone would care. Like, would it be better for me to bin it? I genuinely don't know. In general, there's a lot of things, especially these small cacti here, that I would definitely be okay with like getting rid of. I like them for now, and I don't necessarily want to get rid of them, but it's one of those things where if they did end up having pests, I wouldn't hesitate to throw them away. Where I do love my Senecio, I don't want to get rid of that. I think it is really fun and like quirky, and things like my big cacti, I don't want to get rid of these. Absolutely 100% not. Like, y'all saw that my booby cactus had thrips, might still have thrips, but I'm not planning on getting rid of this one anytime soon. And I feel like same with the medium one there. This one I really love still, and this one that I got from Claire in the back here. I don't even know if you could see it, but... And my big guys, those aren't going anywhere. But my Apuntia, maybe the papyrus one. I kind of just got it because it looked weird and wonderful for that Halloween video, but I don't really feel like I need it anymore. This one up here. It's definitely seen better days. It looks so shriveled and exfoliated. I think it's probably time for the bin for this one, because I don't think it's meant to look like that. And maybe this one too. This Echeveria, I think it is. Can you tell that I don't take good care of it? I don't know if it's I don't take good care of it, or like, why is it still exfoliated? If this is like literally the brightest light I have possible, why is it still growing like that? I don't get it. Oh my god, also, these leaves are just falling off. And these ones are dead. It is just, this one I feel like just needs to go into the bin as well, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know. I also need to make room for my white ghosts in here, so gotta find some space for that as well. So getting rid of some things wouldn't be the worst. Maybe I can put it up there once the Apuntia's gone. And then the final room of the house, before we get into that, it's just been sitting in the hallway, which I know doesn't have fantastic light or anything, but I have never been good at ferns. I have tried them several times, but they literally all go sort of brown and crispy. I feel like I've been watering this one enough, but it is still very, very regularly losing leaves. Like, I breathe on it and it's just like, maybe it's just not humid enough in my home, not humid enough in the hallway. That very well could be it. But I feel like this one, I wouldn't even want to give this to someone. This is the kind of plant that I would just put out on the street, because then someone can just take it. I don't need to, like, I feel like no one would take this off of a sort of Facebook marketplace kind of thing, unless it was like marked as free or something even. But you know what's easier when things are free? Putting them outside on the curb. So I think that's where this one is gonna go, because it's just not. I also think that I want to give this to a good home. This is another jungle cactus. This is actually the first jungle cactus I ever got. I didn't realize it was a jungle cactus at the time, and it has grown really, really well for me since. I grew it from propagations, so it has been with me for a while. I just don't feel like I connect with it anymore. I feel like it's a bit of an awkward shape, and I know I'm like shaming a plant, which doesn't feel amazing, but I don't feel like I necessarily need it anymore. And I feel like someone would just give it a better life than I have been, because I have genuinely just been ignoring it. And I mean, it's still been growing perfectly well. It's not done poorly, but I don't feel like I need it anymore. I do feel kind of bad about it, but not at the same time. It's a bit of a weird one, because it was a gift as well, like a Secret Santa gift. But that's okay. I don't have to keep anything. Once plants are mine, they're mine. I get to choose what I want to do with them. And if I don't want to keep them, I don't have to keep them. That's something that's quite difficult for me to remember, that if I don't want to keep something, I don't have to keep something. Even if it was a gift, even if it was a swap, even if it was a trade, I don't have to keep anything. Though I feel like morally obligated to, I shouldn't, because it's okay to not want to keep plants that aren't bringing me joy anymore. Speaking of just not being in love with plants anymore, like specific plants, I do still love plants as like a general thing, though sometimes it dips in and out, but in general I do really love plants. But I'm feeling quite done with this Monstera standelliana. I was able to grow it to the top of 2 poles. There's 2 poles here, and I feel like I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish out of it, and so I no longer need it. Again, I've been letting this pole dry out. This water cup, like the holes are blocked, and I've done nothing about it. And it's just sort of these signs of neglect. Like, it's not detrimental neglect, but it's neglect nonetheless, that show that I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood. And so I think somebody else will love this one quite a lot. It is a really big, beautiful plant. It's nice. So I think someone will absolutely love it. I just don't anymore. And again, with this here is my string of turtles, or Peperomia prostrata, pastrami? I don't know. My string of turtles, it literally just sits on this shelf and I do nothing to it. I will occasionally water it if I'm watering the other things in this area, but I don't think about this in terms of plants that I love and want to keep at all. And I know somebody would definitely like this more than I do. It's literally dropping leaves right and left as well. Like, I don't need you. I don't need you. Do I even want to keep you? Or should I throw you out? Is it worth trying to give it to somebody else? Like, it's literally just dropping so many leaves. It is a healthy enough plant that I think someone could get some growth out of it. So it's not too far gone. So I can put this on Facebook Marketplace and it would be fine. Or I could even send this to someone. Honestly, this would wrap up really well. It might get a little bit tangled. It might lose a couple of little leaves or something, but it would still live and be okay. So no longer one that I need to keep. Oh, I've just had a thought. I was gonna say that I could potentially get rid of my Hoya Rosita just because I don't pay that much attention to it, but I have just seen how many freaking peduncles are on this one. They're literally everywhere, and even up the top here, this one is going to be amazing. Oh, okay, I was gonna say I could potentially get rid of this one, but I now don't think I can. Just because I actually, like, when Hoyas bloom, I love it, and this one is such a prolific bloomer that I don't think I could actually get rid of it. It's fine, I'm gonna keep this one. I changed my mind, I'm not gonna get rid of it. I can't because it's too flowery. So I've kind of collated all of the plants that I am thinking about getting rid of into one zone here, and I guess I'll talk through how I'm gonna do that as well in case some of you are interested, because I know it is a little bit difficult to figure out exactly how you want to get rid of your plants sometimes. Like I said earlier, Facebook Marketplace is the typical place where I go for things that are a little bit bigger, things that I couldn't necessarily fit into a box. But if the plants are smaller, I am in the fortunate position that I can I can make a video like this and say, I don't want these plants, does anyone want them in the UK? And people will end up messaging me, so I am very lucky in that respect. But otherwise, putting them on someplace like Instagram or eBay or something like that is a good shout. Or, like I said, putting them outside. I'm gonna go outside with the fern there and just leave it, because I don't think I'd be able to otherwise get rid of it. If I saw that as a listing, even if it was a plant that I did want, if it wasn't, like, I feel like someone can get a better plant of that easily elsewhere, so there's kind of no point in me trying to even sell it or give it away online. But for things that are a little bit more rare, a place like eBay or something makes a bit more sense, because you're probably going to find more collectors in that zone, whereas Facebook tends to be more just like your neighborhood folk who want to get some houseplants, unless you're part of those sort of Facebook buy, sell, trade groups. I feel like those are good places to do like purges like this as well. I'm personally not a part of any of them, because otherwise I would just be buying plants constantly that people are purging or getting rid of. So it's not wise for me to be a part of them. I could, in theory, join just to get rid of some of these things, but I don't feel like I need to do that personally. The other way is to list these for swap or go to a plant swap. It's a shame that the London plant swap isn't for a couple of months at this point. Otherwise I mean, potentially, if some of them are still in my hands by the time that comes around in October, I can bring them to that if no one's like sort of taken them off of Facebook. But if it was sooner, like next week, I would take all of these and just bring them there because that would be a lot easier. So looking for swaps in your area could be a really good shout, a good option if you're trying to get rid of some things. I feel like those are kind of the main ways, either that or the bin, which, I mean, you saw I threw some plants in the bin, but I tend to only do that if they are like mostly dead already, if they are heavily infested, or if I find that they have like sort of no value really. So like if I had a golden pothos that ended up dying, that would probably go in the bin, just because so many people have that at this point. Unless it was like a really big plant, and I don't know, it just, sometimes I just don't feel like doing it, and that's okay. It's okay for me to just throw things away as well. That is an absolutely fine way to get rid of things, if it's between my sanity and having a plant, or disposing of a plant in a way that other people deem fit. I'm gonna go with my sort of mental health and well-being first, because like, after all, one of the main reasons I got into plants is for mental health's sake, and so if they're starting to bring me more stress than good, then it's okay to just let go of them. So yeah, that's me decluttering my plant collection. I really hope you enjoyed coming with me for it, that you got some like insight into how I go about this kind of thing. If you're also maybe dealing with a bit of overwhelm with your plants, or finding that you have some in your collection that you're not loving as much anymore and you just needed the push to take the plunge and actually get rid of them, this is that push. Do it. I know for a fact that once I get rid of some or all of these, I'm going to feel a lot better and feel like I have a bit more like mental space as well as physical space in my home for plants, and for the plants I have and the ones that I really want to be taken care of all the time. So yeah, that's the end of today's video. Before I sign off though, I want to say a big thank you to Daphne for joining the Good Growing fam. Thanks for joining. I really hope you enjoy it over on Patreon. If anyone else is interested in joining my Patreon, it is £3 a month. I think about $4.50-ish, 4-ish euros. And for that, you get everything: bonus content, live chats, polls, access to the Discord server, and everything really. So it's there if you want it. Don't worry if that's not your thing, that's absolutely fine. I just enjoy it as a bit of fun. So yeah, otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future, and subscribe for more. And I will see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day, and don't forget to keep growing. Bye!